Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Craig Burrell, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Lieutenant Colonel Andrew Butler. We warmly welcome the family of Gunner Frederick Henry James Pickles, whose story will be told shortly. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by family and visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. Please be seated if you can do so. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the hearts of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Frederick Henry James Pickles. Frederick Pickles was born on the 16th of August 1914 in the southeast of England, the son of James and Emma Pickles. He had two brothers, James and Harry, and two sisters, Emily and Florence. At the beginning of the Second World War, his family was living in Hobart, while he was in Victoria working as a chauffeur. Frederick Pickles had previously been part of the Citizens Military Forces and in March of 1940 joined the 2nd AIF. Pickles embarked from Melbourne on the 14th of April 1940, bound for the Middle East. During the voyage, he was admitted to the ship's hospital with a minor ailment, but he was healthy when he disembarked in Palestine a month later. Pickles joined the 2nd Field Regiment, a field artillery regiment that had been training in North Africa. In December of 1940, Gunner Pickles was evacuated to hospital with multiple sores on his leg. He rejoined his unit in mid-January 1941 as the Australians went into action in the Western Desert. The regiment supported the 16th Brigade's attack on Bardia and the capture of Tobruk, followed by further actions in Libya before being withdrawn to Egypt. Its next undertaking was to be the ill-planned and short-lived Greek campaign. The Greeks, assisted by British forces, had defeated an Italian invasion in October of 1940. But in early April 1941, German forces attacked Greece and Yugoslavia simultaneously. Vastly outnumbered, hindered by poor communications and difficult terrain, the Allied forces suffered in the face of the speed and power of the German advance. Within a week, many Allied troops were in retreat. Australian and New Zealand troops, redesignated the Anzac Corps, achieved some success in small areas, but withdrawal southwards was inevitable. The evacuation by ship from Kalamata began on the 24th of April, with over 50,000 troops being removed over 5 successive nights. In the chaos that followed, Gunner Pickles' regiment was landed on Crete in May. Lacking their guns, the regiment was formed into an ad hoc group known as Cremor Force, named after the 2nd Second's commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel William Cremor. The gunners were re-rolled as infantry, fighting alongside elements of the 2nd 3rd Field Regiment and the 16th and 17th Brigades, which formed composite battalions with personnel who had been separated from their brigades during the evacuation from Greece. Towards the end of May, Gunner Pickles' unit was attempting to join up with the Greeks in the hills south of the village of Mournes. As the regiment was preparing to move, the area was heavily bombed and machine-gunned from the air. Gunner Frederick Pickles was one of 3 who died in the attack. Whilst others were injured, he was buried near where he fell. But with the confusion surrounding the situation on Crete, he was initially posted as missing. Later confirmed as killed in action on the 23rd of May, 1941, today Frederick Pickles is commemorated on the Athens Memorial at Phaleron War Cemetery. He is one of almost 3,000 Commonwealth soldiers who lost their lives during the campaign of Greece and Crete and who have no known grave. He was 26 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour to my left, amongst almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photo is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Frederick Henry James Pickles, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall not grow old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we shall remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial, and we wish you all a very good evening.